Let's interrupt our regularly scheduled program to talk to you about everybody's favorite subject right now. What the heck are NFTs? Hi, I'm Dave, and I make things. Yes, I'm jumping in on the bandwagon of this conversation because I believe that it is an important conversation to be had right now in our current landscape of creative things. If you don't know me yet, guys, my name is Dave Conrad. I'm an artist and a designer, and I make a lot of things, hence the name. I make all of the things that you can think of. I try to make at least so that I have the experience to share with you what it's like to make those things and then potentially sell those things. And today I want to talk to you about everybody's favorite hype topic, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. We're going to talk about the heat, we're going to talk about the hype, and then we're going to talk about the future. But before we talk about any of that, let's talk about that name, shall we? What the hell is a non-fungible token? The key word there is fungible. And if you look that up in the dictionary, in fact, let's look that up in the dictionary. Remember when we actually used to look up into books now, and now we just go over to, google.com or whatever and dictionary.com and what is fungible? Returnable or negotiable in kind of or by substitution as a quantity of grain or for an equal amount of the same kind of grain. Basically, that's saying trade. What is an equal trade of one thing versus another? If I have 4 American quarters and you have a $1 bill, we can trade those and they are equal. They will always be equal. They will always be fungible. Non-fungible means that it's something that cannot be transferred for an equal thing because there is only one of that thing. It is a singular, unique piece of whatever, and it cannot be replicated. At least not at its original one-of-a-kind value. Can you make a copy of a non-fungible thing and then make it fungible because you've made that copy? No, because once you've made a copy, it is not the original anymore and it will never retain its value. The one example that everybody tends to use is the Mona Lisa. Have many people tried to copy the Mona Lisa? Have many copies been really, really good and fooled other people? Yes, the answer to all of those questions. But there is still only one Mona Lisa. Here's the funny thing. If you go to the Louvre at any given time, there's a strong possibility that the one that you're looking at is not actually the real Mona Lisa. Therefore, a non-fungible token is a one-of-a-kind digital item that can only be sold at whatever current value somebody is willing to pay for it. There are no copies of it. You can't trade it for an equal fungible token unless both of those happen to have the same requisite value. But even then, after the fact, one of those is always going to be worth more or less than the other. There is no equal value. There is only a one-of-a-kind item. And so when you are creating an NFT, you are making a one-of-a-kind digital item. How is that possible if it's digital? I could literally make a screenshot of a JPEG and make that thing into my own version of that. That is 100% true. As an artist, if I were to make a piece of art, create a digital file out of that, load it up into one of these crypto art NFT-based websites, and mint it, which is the phrase they use for creating something that is attached to a very specific person, idea, data, whatever. I mint that item. That creates a signature within the file that says this thing belongs to this person at this moment. There is only one. Can I right-click and copy and save as? Yeah. But the data that you've just copied over is not the same. If that doesn't make any sense to you yet, please do me a favor, go down to the comments and leave a question or a comment or an idea down there so that we can talk about this in the future or, immediately after you watch this video. I'm gonna splice this in right here, right now, so that you guys understand something. I'm not an expert in this topic. There are plenty of resources to which I will link to below that will give you as much information as you can possibly ever want. But I don't know everything. I do know just enough to be dangerous. I'm here just to give the primer so that you have a basic understanding, and then you go do the rest of the homework after that. Now back to what I was saying. So bring the heat, Dave. What is it? What's so hot about it? Why is this so popular? You're an artist, you want to make a digital piece of art, and you want to sell it on one of these NFT marketplaces. The beauty of that is that you can make it, you can sell it, and you get to keep all of the income, which Obviously, you can do that on a lot of different marketplaces. You can start your own Shopify and do it there. The thing about that is that you can sell it once and then somebody else can do whatever they want with that file and then it's gone. It's into the ether. Plus there's the fact that you could turn around and sell multiple copies of that because you're not attaching the data that's necessary to make it an NFT. So it's really just an FT. But here's the thing. When you put it up onto these sites, you go and you sell it and somebody buys it, potentially. If they buy it, they hold on to it. They are now the owners of that NFT. There's always a connection to who made it. So this person owns it, but it shows that you are the creator. If I become gallery represented and I sell this canvas through the gallery is going to take a cut and I take a cut. Now let's say I become super famous and that person who originally bought my painting turns around and wants to sell it again. Well, they can do that, of course. And then they make the return on that. The gallery doesn't make any money after that. I don't make any money after that purchase. That's all them. So if it went up in value, I lose. Only the person who bought wins. With NFTs, if I sell something to somebody and they turn around and sell it to somebody else, I can make a residual off of that sale. The standard right now is like somewhere between 10 and 20%, depending on who you are and what you're doing. But if that person sells it, and then the next person sells it, and the next person sells it, and the next person sells it, I make that residual income. Put up all these NFTs, and people buy them, and they trade them, and they share them, and I get a cut every single time somebody does that. That, my friends, is exactly why NFTs are so hot right now. Because it is turning the entire art world up on its end, saying, listen, this should be my money. I made it. I want all the money. Or at least a good portion of it, and then some residual income as it progresses down the line through person after person after person after person. Maybe you've heard about this character Beeple and how he sold $3.2 million worth of NFTs in 5 minutes. Or maybe you heard the story where he took 5,000 of his daily images, put them into one NFT, and sold that at Christie's for just shy of $70 million. $70 million. Wrap your head around that. Here's the beauty of it. If that person who bought it for just under $70 million, if they turn around and sell it to somebody else for $120 million, guess who gets 10% of the cut? Do the math in your head, folks. That's the heat. That's what this whole conversation is about. I make the art, I make the money. That's the whole thing about this NFT hype craze right now. And I say hype craze because, let's be honest, there is a huge bubble happening right now. The dude that bought that Beeple token for 69 point whatever million dollars, he better turn around and sell that now while that heat is hot, because there is a strong, really strong possibility that he won't ever get that money back again. And that's actually kind of a beauty point too, because even if he sells it for half of what he paid for it, Beeple still gets his cut. Oh, the beauty of a decentralized marketplace. I love it. We have to be real. The bubble is definitely a thing. There will be a point, and I don't know when it's going to happen, and it could happen much further out than I anticipate. There will be a point where the bubble will burst, and all of the values of these NFTs will come back down to a realistic expectation, a realistic point of perspective for what this whole thing is. Will it kill the marketplace? Will it die? No, of course it's not going to die. NFTs, whether you think so or not, are here to stay. They will not go away ever. They are going to be here for a good long time. And that's why you should be educating yourself on them. If it's even a possibility in your world, take a look. Start doing the research now. If you know anything about Bitcoin, you know that it was starting to gain popularity, it was starting to climb, it was starting to get good, and then somewhere around 2016, 2017, the hype train hit, and it went to the moon. In fact, one Bitcoin went up to upwards somewhere over, I think, $17,000 or $18,000 per coin. And then the bubble burst, and it came slamming back down to earth. And it sat there for a good long time, and just hovered between $4,000 to $6,000 per Bitcoin until recently, where it started to climb again. But this time, Although it has had moments of volatility, the climb is still headed upwards. It is going to keep going upwards for a good long time. I use that example because that is exactly what is happening with NFTs right now. It's gaining in popularity. A lot of people are starting to do it. And then all of a sudden, hype train way to the moon. And of course, the possibility of it come crashing down to the ground is a very real possibility. But when it gets there, it's going to hover at a certain level. And that, my friends, is when you start to put things out, and it's when you start to sell, and it's when I'm going to start to buy them, because guess what's going to happen in a few years, maybe even months, or sometime down the road? It's going to start climbing again. And so all of these NFTs that you purchased or sold are going to start climbing in value. And if you did sell any, maybe you made a small amount on that initial sale. But as your popularity grows and the NFT popularity grows, you are going to continue to make residual income every time one of your NFTs that you created and sold gets turned around and turned around and turned around and turned around. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which happens to be the energy consumption that comes with NFTs. Let's be real. It comes with anything that has to do with cryptocurrency, or the decentralized finance, as a lot of people refer to it as. Does it take a lot of energy to mint one NFT? Yes. Does it take a lot of energy to buy or sell Bitcoin? Yes. But if you look at NFTs for the thing that they really are, it's not just that you've created a piece of art or some sort of creative object, but also something that has financial weight, that carries a financial structure with it, that belongs to a complete economy that goes beyond the scope of what you and I normally deal with our banks and our stocks and all that other stuff. If you look at NFTs as the financial institution that they are really represent, and I say institution as more of an idea rather than a physical institution, you compare that to our current financial structure, banks, stock market, hedge funds, all this stuff that we put our money into now, the amount of energy usage that goes into our normal finance situation far exceeds that of what's happening over here. It is exceptionally more costly to run a bank than it is to run a cryptocurrency. So if you're going to knock the cryptocurrency, you better start looking at the banks over here too. Does that mean we shouldn't try to fix the system so that it doesn't use quite as much energy? Absolutely. That is absolutely positively a thing. And from what I can ascertain, I'm not an expert at this, what I can ascertain is that they are working on that. When it's going to happen, I don't know. But a lot of these farms that are mining these Bitcoins, that are mining these cryptocurrencies, those farms are starting to move towards more sustainable practices. I don't know when it's all going to happen, but that's an idea that they're thinking about. If you went over and talked to HSBC Bank or JP Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo and asked them what they're doing as far as sustainable energy to make their businesses run more efficiently, I guarantee you that's a conversation they're not really having, at least not on the level that these guys are. And all this brings me to the idea of the future. Energy efficiency is something we need to be looking at for the future. It is something we need to consider for our entire planet, and it should be something that should be at the forefront of every conversation. If we look at NFTs and cryptocurrency as the financial institution that it is, knowing that they want to become the financial institution of the future, then they are going to continue to look at that prospect. They are continuing to look at ways to make the whole process more efficient. Some groups have tapped into it and are moving forward. Some are way behind on it, but there's a big middle that is definitely moving towards that direction. Another idea that I want to convey here is the futuristic idea that the way we look at art is going to change at some point. I recently saw a website, which I will link to in the description, where you can walk through a virtual world. It was almost like Minecraft, but city streets. Very 8-bit, very low tech. So you walk through these streets and you see up on the wall all these different pieces of NFT art, and you can admire them and you can say, oh, that one's cool, and I really dig that, and that one's nice, and oh, this one I love. And when you love a piece so much that you just gotta have it, in these new worlds, you can click on it and buy it right there. on the spot. And when I saw this website, the first thing I thought about was the Oculus headsets that have becoming more popular after this last Christmas season. I have 2 friends that have one right now. They love them, they enjoy them with their family, and one friend of mine in particular said that she totally could see how this could become a new thing for people if they would just be okay with VR. VR, or virtual reality, is not really a thing yet. When it does become a thing, websites like I just told you about, they are going to become a thing too. And if you had your art displayed on one of those virtual walls, you would have an opportunity to sell. This isn't a possible questionable future. This is the future. This is where we are going. I don't know when it's going to be a reality, but it's absolutely 100% going to be a thing. The most futuristic idea about all of this is back to the concept that if you make the art, you should be the one to make the money. You should be the one to make the residual income on all of this. And once that idea becomes pervasive, that's when NFTs will really take off. We are a long way away from that right now. And that is exactly why you should start today. Again, folks, I am not a financial expert. I am not an NFT art expert. I highly recommend you go do your homework and check some of the links that I have posted down below so you can see more of that. I will be talking about NFTs more in the future because I myself have already started. I will put a link to that in the description down below if you want to check me out over on OpenSea.io. Yeah, you can go buy one of my NFTs right now. Or if you missed out and you didn't get to buy any of the ones that I have for sale, well, they'll still be available through somebody else and I'll still get a cut. But yes, of course, we're going to be talking about them more in the future, so stay tuned for that. I just wanted to give you this a little bit of a primer so that you guys understand that, hey, man, it's happening. Get on the bus. Or don't. That's completely up to you. Because right now, it looks like that bus is headed for Crazy Town, and I mean, I'm okay with it, but, you may not be. Okay, gang, that's it for this long-winded topic. I fully anticipate that there's going to be some of you who have no idea what I just said, or at least have lots and lots of questions. Please, by all means, go put those questions or any thoughts down in the comments below, and I will do my best to kind of give you my perspective. But again, I'll probably just send you the links to the pages that you should probably check out because there's far more people that know way more than me. Honestly, I'm just trying to make it a little bit more approachable for a lot of people, like explaining it to you in the most, I don't know, Dave-ish of ways. But yeah, hit the comments down below, and then, while you're headed down there, make sure you hit that like button. Oh, and of course, if you know anybody who might have been talking about NFTs or might be interested in this topic, do me a favor and share it with them because you never know. Maybe they want to get on the bus to Crazy Town. Let's go. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I've been Dave. You've been awesome. I'll see you next time. Go make more stuff.